Gracias, encantado por estar aquí en el Docomomo ibérico. Bueno, para simplificar voy a hablar en inglés, portugués y castellano. Eso será completo. Vasco no, perdón. Voy a leer en inglés, las leyendas están en portugués y de vez en cuando, por un acceso temporario de entusiasmo, hablaré en castellano. Bueno, the Novo Eiras Neighborhood Unit is proposed to UNESCO Heritage List as a strong case of civic identity and integrated rehabilitation. The bairro residencial de Novo Eiras Neighborhood Unit, which we call from now on Brno, stands in the surroundings of Lisbon, the capital city of Portugal. Brno is one of the most qualified and active built communities in the country. Are you getting it? ¿Están entendiendo? Being as an urban settlement planned in the 1950s, it houses about 2,000 people between residents and workers in a modern design urban environment, 40 hectares more or less, following the Athens Charter of Le Corbusier's modern movement theory of the 1930s in its core or nucleus, with 3 slab blocks, this one, and this one, with 3 slab blocks and 6-point towers, as you can see there. 6 towers around a central plaza, and that is the let's say the core of the thing. This plaza, which we call very commonly the Átrio Comercial. But Brno is also a follower of the Garden City principles of Ebenezer Howard's 1900s document. As you can see, all around the central core, you have the Garden City area, including an area of family houses and private gardens around its central core. At the same time, Novo Eiras represents a perfect and balanced neighborhood unit example as an application of the model proposed by Clarence Perry for the USA cities of the 1920s. So you have, in a single planned unit, the Garden City system, the neighboring unit system, and the Carta of Athens modern movement system. Integrated, interactive, dialoguing. Global Brno design reflects the great theoretical movements of Euro-American urbanism and built culture of the 20th century, and at the same time offers great originality in its mixed model pattern, which is highlighted by the rarity of the existence today of this type of urban architectural unit complex around the world. As far as I know, there's nothing all around the world similar to Novo Eiras neighborhood unit. That is to say, which comprehends the 3 most important urbanistic principles of the 20th century in a single urban designed pattern. Brno's diversity of space and form tried to articulate modern architecture and modern town planning, mainly influenced by Northern Europe typologies, isolated blocks and towers in concrete structure, with the Southern Europe urban tradition of patios and squares, plazas, the whole being framed by a creative landscape made up of native Mediterranean vegetal species. Brno's universal value as a landscape, architectural and urban paramount, must be emphasized. At the same time, explaining as this site is sustained in an all-overall manner by the support and adhesion of its living community, showing a strong sense of local participation and initiative. So there is another originality in Brno, which is the connection between the Mediterranean Atlantic Southern Europe landscape and the Northern Europe idea of open landscape in a single structure, as you can see, and the support by its community, organized community. Brno also articulates the terrain continuity with historical and cultural landmarks of its surrounding environment, as we will see. Brno is geographically connected with the Baroque palace and gardens of the Marquis of Pombal, with the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation Science Research Center, to Oeiras Medieval and Urban Center, and to the Agricultural Research State Center unit. Authenticity and integrity of Brno site will be presented, as well as the aspects regarding the municipal head management, with several unplanned restoration works done and in course in its public spaces and buildings, in its civic and cultural initiatives. There is a local service cabinet, municipal cabinet, to attend population projects. There is an annual reward to the best private restoration project and works, etc. So the municipality decided 3 years ago that the Brno would be base for the definition and application for the World Heritage Site by UNESCO, first at the national level and then on the international level. So you have seen some general shots of the Brno landscape. Now we'll see it more organized, in a more organized way, and systematization. So the plan, the authorship and general plan coordination of the Brno belongs to architect Luís Cristino da Silva, one of the main pioneers of the first modern generation in Portugal. The plan started in the 1950s and was continuously accompanied by more than 20 years between the first plan of 1953 and the final in 1974, counting on the collaboration and co-authorship of architect Pedro Falcão e Cunha and the landscape architect Gonçalo Ribeiro Teles. So we have seen this very singular and specific idea, which is interesting because Brno is a private enterprise. It was destined to, to make money, to rent houses. It's not a public system. It's not a public housing plan. So in its private initial idea, the private enterprise decided to work with the best architects and landscape architects of its time to produce the best quality work. Someone said that quality is the respect for the people 2 days ago. So these enterprises, these investors decided the same thing, not being Che Guevara. And at the same time, respecting the tradition, the very Portuguese tradition of eclecticism in urbanism and architecture. They integrated the most interesting, productive, theoretical ideas of urbanism. Of the 1900s, Garden City; of the 1920s, neighborhood unit; of the 1930s and 40s, the Carta 10, the modern movement enterprise. And they produced it in a very coherent system. Also, it's a suburban area. Oeiras is in the surroundings of Lisbon, 10 miles from Lisbon, between Lisbon and Cascais. So it should be a suburban, unqualified and secondary area, but it was the creator, the space that was creator of a certain new centrality in its own terms. As you can see, the plan follows very clearly the patterns of the Garden City, mixed, and that is the point that I want to emphasize, mixed with the modern idea of landscape. Novo Oeiras is mainly a landscape system with an urban design and integrating buildings, being family houses, collective towers or slab blocks or whatever. This was the statement, which you can read in Portuguese, the statement by the Portuguese landscape architect Gonçalo Ribeiro Teles, which was explaining in some 60 years ago when they designed it, the plan of the Nova Oeiras residential neighborhood entailed a vast central space where some towers would appear integrated in an area where the groups of umbrella pines and cork trees, the Mediterranean species, surrounded an extensive meadow. Footpaths would go round that meadow, separating it from the more dense groups of trees. Between the towers, there was a recreational space and more consistent local equipment. On the dominant top of the meadow, the construction of a church was planned. Around this complex, according to the old idea of a garden city, a ring of houses limited the area covered by the plan. So the architects, when they conceived the plan 60 years ago, they had the clear notion of the historical context of the garden city, and yet they introduced it and included it. That was a very interesting point of view, project point of view. So this is the general view some 30 years ago of the central core of the Nova Oeiras urbanization. It is interesting to note, in my point of view, as you remember the presentation of Álvaro Sevilla yesterday, when he stated that there should be, following in Villafebre's ideas, la ciudad obra, la vida urbana, la centralidad y las diferencias. In my point of view, the Brno urbanization was able to include them all. You have a certain new scale of monumentality in the whole system of housing, towers, blocks, landscapes. You have the city life introduced in the general context of the 2,000 people acting with the neighborhood unit in this central area. In fact, you have commercial area with shops, mail stores, supermarkets. This is a rehabilitation center. You have real attempt of creating a civic center, in the core of the nucleus. Then you have a second level which attracts the most spectacular ways of modern living. And then you have a calm third ring, let's say suburban English type garden city system. And they interact between each other. So you have the general monumental level, the middle neighborhood unit level, the specific civic center point, and the difference. The difference is, as I have pointed out, it's a private enterprise to make money. It's a suburban area which was very much qualified with a new idea. It has an eclectic point of view upon the different urban theories of the 20th century. And in a plain statement, it's beautiful. Look, it's 10 minutes. 15. So I must end. Okay. I will end this is Ribeiro Teles explaining to persons the context in the 2 minutes. Okay, thanks. As you can see in this photo on the right side, you still have here the line of the Brno urbanization. Then you have the gardens and the main Marquis of Pombal palace. Then you have the Oeiras medieval civic center with the main church, and the Gulbenkian Foundation scientific research center, and the general group of elements is also, inducing quality and interest upon the Nova Oeiras urbanization. Well, architect and professor at Alcalá de Henares, Roberto Goicolea, has studied this urbanization, has presented 3 or 4 points into the regulations of UNESCO that prove the quality and the interest of showing to UNESCO this possibility of classification for Brno in terms of UNESCO World Heritage Site. These are some images of the central core, the so-called civic center with central lake, comparisons with the systems that are also classified by UNESCO as the modernist neighborhoods in Berlin and Brasilia and Mexico City University and others non-classified. But most of all, the most important thing that I wanted to explain to you was that the municipality is the Oeiras municipality is very active, inducing this process of preparation for the proposal of a World Heritage Site. That's the reason why I'm here. I'm proposing Brno to be included in the Docomomo Iberian list. But also, and I will finish with it, I will end with it, and the Oeiras municipality is, at the same time, the leadership in terms of preservation and proposal for this process. They have a municipal management system with a local support bureau for accompanying the works of renewal. A permanent articulation with the local community residents, thanks to the cooperation of the Residents Association Club. A group of recuperation and restoration works already carried out and being processed nowadays. And a financial, cultural, pedagogical, recreational and promotional system with a prize and so on. Thanks a lot.